Resident Evil has always had an identity crisis. Is it survival horror or a high-octane action shooter? Resident Evil Requiem finally says, why not both? This game is the ultimate output of what Capcom has been trying to do with the series since the negative reception of RE6. It takes everything they have learned from 7, 8 and the remakes to give us arguably one of the best Resident Evil experiences ever. But is it really that good? Requiem is trying to appease all fans of the numbered entries at least. When you play as Grace, it's in first person and is survival horror similar to 7. When you play as Leon, it's in third person and is more of an action horror like the 4 remake. I enjoy both of these styles, both nail what they're trying to do, they pay respect to what came before whilst trying out some new mechanics to keep things fresh. You play as Grace Ashcroft, who gets kidnapped by some mysterious figures and must escape the care centre. Leon has been tracking down the same people who took Grace and ends up at the care centre. You'll have to play as both to escape and figure out what's going on. I did not watch any trailers besides the reveal. I like to go in blind for Resi games. I don't know what they showed, so I'll keep light on story details till the spoiler section later on. For now I'll say I enjoyed the story. It's fun, crazy and scary at times. Even if I got a few nitpicks I'll talk about later. There are also some changes to the lore which I'm not too crazy about. It's also filled with tons of fan service, especially in the second half, which I'm torn on. Grace is a good new protagonist. Right away you can tell she isn't confident. She is shy, stutters and isn't used to fighting monsters. Perfect for the horror side. It's great to see her grow more confident and capable over the story. There is a great deal where she first fires the magnum her hands will hurt from the recoil, to show how inexperienced she is. My boy Leon is as cool as he's ever been. He is old now and is clearly sick of this shit. He looks and sounds gruffer than ever but still has his charm. He still spits out one-liners and roundhouse kicks like they're nothing. He doesn't go on much of a character journey, he is here to aura farm and he nails it. The only letdown for me with the characters are the villains. Gideon is the main one. He needs Grace in order to complete his plans and that's about it. He is fine, he looks creepy, he just doesn't do anything too memorable, compared to the likes of Jack or Wesker. Also, how he goes about his plan is questionable, but I'll talk about it later. I'll save spoilers for towards the end of the video. For now, let's jump into the gameplay. I played on classic difficulty. This meant I could only save with an ink ribbon, like the old games. I'm glad this is here for us older fans, but where is the hard difficulty? I normally play on hard for my first time for Resi games. It always feels like the right challenge for me. I thought this would be classic, but this is the same as normal but with limited saves. You unlock Insanity mode after you beat the game, but that feels more like hardcore mode. I would like a difficulty between normal and Insanity. I will split this into Grace and Leon like the game does. You do switch between them every so often, but it's mostly playing as one character for the first half, then the other for the later half. This works better in the first half for me. Playing a tense horror section then change into a quick action part for a breather was cathartic. When it was the other way around, it felt like the pace was slowed down. I'll start with Grace. This is the survival horror part. This will feel very familiar to 2 and 7. Lots of little callbacks to mechanics and sections to those games. You start in a small section which introduces you to the plot, how the game works, and you get kidnapped. Much like in the opening to 7, it's a decent opening that sets up the intrigue. Then once Grace wakes up you'll have no weapons and must avoid an unkillable enemy. This is a great introduction that introduces the horror vibes well. It's incredibly well designed considering there's only 4 or 5 rooms. It is very linear but that's fine for an intro. You'll be stalked by a monster that avoids light. She does this thing where she bursts through the wall like Jack and Nemesis. If you get seen you'll run back to the light, but the monster learns this. When you're running back for the 3rd time she breaks the light or she'll pop out in front of the door. This really kept me on my toes. This section ends with Leon giving Grace his magnum. He's like, you might need this. He only gives her a single bullet. What a dick. I really like this change with the magnum. You normally get one towards the end of your run. To have it at the start changes the dynamic drastically. You could use it to take out a single enemy for good, but you know in the back of your mind there are going to be bigger enemies to use it on. The magnum can take out multiple zombies, so it could be worth the payoff, especially if you use on the 3 zombies blocking a superior handgun in the bar. You also can't find a lot of ammo for the magnum. This means you'll have to think about where to use it. A perfect example of this game doing survival horror right. After this first section the game starts to open up. You find a safe room with an item box. This is where the old school Resi experience starts. You'll find a lot of locked doors that need items to open and puzzles to solve. This will take you all over the care centre which is filled with zombies. Ammo is limited and zombies take a few shots to go down, so avoiding them is often the best solution. This part is my favourite in the game, but it's not perfect. I'll start with the positives. The actual zombies themselves can remember their human life, more so than the other games. You can use this to your advantage. One zombie will say, lights on. This means you can lure him away by hitting the light switch. Or one has a head injury and hates loud noises. If you throw a ball at a different zombie, he'll attack them thinking he was the one making the noise. The coins have been brought back from 7. You can see the reward and how many coins you will need to unlock them. All of the rewards are great and you have to decide which is more important to you to get first. It's good decision making. These coins are hidden somewhere on the map. They are totally optional, which is nice. It's good to have missable stuff in these games. They reward players that take the time to find everything. The crafting system has also had a bit of a change, which I like. The main resource for crafting is blood somehow. This means enemies are the resource. If you want them to drop more blood when they die, you have to shoot them in the head. Even more reason to be better. You can only hold 150 blood max, which isn't a lot. Everything costs a good chunk of blood to make. Add this with the limited amount of blood you can get because enemies don't respawn forever. This means you have to think about what you are crafting. Before I move on to the next area, I actually went around the map getting as much blood as I could and crafting things. It's a good stressful resource to manage. They did away with the stalker enemy for this section. They were replaced by two big enemies, one for each side of the map. A big chef and a fat Bob called Chunk, who can't fit through doors. I didn't realise they weren't stalker types. I spent a long time avoiding them, which was fun. Then it hit me, what if I could kill them? This is what I wasted my magnum bullets on, and it was worth it. These areas became a lot easier to navigate, and I got a key to a resource room. I think I preferred these to the stalker enemies. Obviously they aren't as iconic, but with stalkers I refuse to waste the resources on them because I know they won't stay dead. Here I actually chose to use my resources and it paid off. I'm not saying they're better than Mr. X or Jack, I'm just glad these weren't unkillable enemies. The last great thing is bringing back the Crimson Heads, this time called Blister Heads. Zombies that are killed have a chance of coming back stronger and faster if you don't blow their heads off, or use a resource that costs a lot of blood to stop them from turning. This was a fantastic idea in Resi 1 remake and it's fantastic here. It synergises with the resource management well. It makes you want to avoid killing enemies, but this could lead to you getting attacked by that enemy later on, wasting more resources in the long run. I'm honestly surprised this isn't in every survival horror game. Now for the negatives, it's a bit too linear. It's very much you have to do A, then B, then C. Like in Resi 1 when that game starts you can go east or west wing or upstairs. This game starts as only west wing, then you have to find the ID card, which gives you 3 doors to unlock, 2 are mandatory. These 2 bring you to the second ID card, which takes you to the next area. It's fine, it works, you just don't get a lot of choice in what you do. The only part where you can shake things up is in which order you get the quartz cubes in. I guess you can miss the one that's locked behind the acid if you go to the other area first, but it's not much of a change as you basically didn't explore one room first. The other big negative for me are the puzzles. I'm not saying they have to be Riddler level hard, just get me to be stumped for a minute. Every puzzle I solve right away. You either have to follow what a note says or bring an item you found to the obvious place it needs to go. All the Resis had puzzles that took a second to figure out, like the painting room with the crows. The only puzzle I had to think was where you needed to look at 2 different photos to get the full code to a box. There's a third photo to throw you off. This might be the best puzzle and that's sad to say. A minor negative is the care centre. It's got a good layout, it just doesn't stand out much compared to the Spencer Mansion or the Baker Estate. There is no memorable room. The most standout room is the main entrance, it's white and green and looks distinct, but nothing happens here. Monsters can't come in there. I also like the fact the game pauses when you open your inventory. It's more stressful when it doesn't. The next area brings back the monster that's afraid of light and she acts like a stalker type. This is a good little area that pays homage to Jack and Lady Demetrius. There's also some neat brainwork where you have to think what to power first. Grace does have one more part, but that'll be in the spoiler section. For the most part I love Grace's parts. It takes a lot from the other games and does them well. It's a classic survival horror experience, with a good amount of resources where you don't feel like you have enough. It has a few flaws but feels like a good follow-up to 7. Leon's parts are also great for different reasons. You get some small parts where you play as him during the care centre. You get to run through it after Grace has gone to the second area. It's very satisfying killing enemies that Grace struggled to with ease. He is more experienced, this is shown when he uses the Magnum. He is affected by the recoil way less than her. He also doesn't shake whilst aiming because he is used to this, unlike Grace. There is a fun sniper part where you have to cover Grace. This reminds me of that part in 4 where you have to cover Ashley when she has to turn the cranks. Leon's main part is Raccoon City. This is where the game turns into a sequel to Resi 4. There is a store where you can buy new guns and upgrades. Enemies give you points when killed from now on, so you're encouraged to kill as many as possible. His inventory screen is also the same as in 4, where you can move stuff about to make space. Leon is so much fun to play here. He has a wide variety of guns he can use like pistols, shotguns, submachine guns, snipers, and of course the Magnum. These can all be upgraded and purchased at the store. You can also find one of each type for free, but these won't be as good as the ones in the store. This time around he swaps out his trusty knife for a hatchet, and it looks dope as hell. He can still parry an attack like in 4 with this. Unlike in 4 you don't have to find different knives or pay to repair it. The hatchet will get blunter with each use. Let the bar empty and you can't use it. Parrying drains this down the most and is the most useful to perform. You can quickly sharpen it by tapping 2 buttons, but it will leave you exposed. The sharpening mechanic is simple, looks badass, and is a great addition to the combat. The hatchet is also used in a lot of the finishers. When enemies are vulnerable you can do a high damage attack or outright kill them. Very satisfying to pull off and it takes a bit of skill to make them available. They often only go into this state if you land headshots. It's a nice reward for skillful play. Do this near a wall and sometimes Leon will kick the enemy's head into the wall, crushing their skull in the process. Sick. Another inclusion deepens the strategy is being able to use objects. Enemies will often carry axes or rebarbs to hit you with, but if you kill them you can use them instead. Leon will throw axes at zombies, stunning them, or swing rebarbs if they are close. It's a nice evolution of Resi 4's combat. You even get to use a chainsaw on the zombies, which feels great after dying to Dr. Salvazar for 20 years. The only step back on the grenades. There are only two types, hand grenade and double hand grenades. Where's the flash and incendiary? I guess they aren't much use against zombies as the last Plagueis. I will say I don't think the zombies here are more enjoyable to fight than the last Plagueis. There just isn't enough variety. Sure, some zombies can hold weapons and they can turn into blister heads, but that's about it. Last Plagueis had regular, axe throwing shield guides, the ones that could burst out their heads and crawl around. I get that was a whole game's worth of combat, but it does make Requiem seem lacking in comparison. Leon does get a lot of bosses to fight to be fair, but they would be spoilers to show. They are all fun to fight and a welcome change up. I think what's bringing down Leon's part for me is the area. This part is a random street in Raccoon City. Don't get me wrong, it's really well designed with a lot of set pieces sprinkled throughout. Like there's a great part where you're stood on glass and you can shoot the glass to kill zombies, but this means you have less space to move around. Or there is another part where you're being shot at by mortar guns, but when you make it to them you can use the guns against the zombies. The part that let me down is why we're on a random street. Why not make this a more iconic location like the hospital from 3 or the zoo from Outbreak? You might be like, oh, it's too much fan service, but when's the next time we're going to be in Raccoon City? Just go all out. Another part that kind of annoys me, kind of doesn't, is how do all these notes and items survive the missiles? Like Leon has a line where he says, there are still zombies here, the missiles should have wiped them all out. If it couldn't destroy people, why would it have killed all the zombies? This part as Leon is really fun, the combat is satisfying and stressful. Looking around for secrets and shortcuts was rewarding. I think I could have done with a bit more enemy variety. You do play as Leon in more areas, but that'll be in the spoiler section, which won't be long. I have to gush about the presentation first. This game looks fucking great. The graphics look stunning, the use of lighting is phenomenal. You will often have to pull out your flashlight to see, which enhances the horror. Environments are very detailed, they feel like real places, with a really good use of environmental storytelling. The gore is also great, zombies can get their limbs blown off, which looks gnarly. They look creepy and intimidating with their flesh peeling off. They also sound scary with their moans and broken voices. This is obviously Capcom at their peak when it comes to the horror presentation. Also, choosing how you want the camera to work is a lovely inclusion. I stuck with the default options. It feels wrong playing Grace's part in third person and Leon's in first. I also switched it so Leon stays in third person whilst aiming with a dot sight. It just feels right. I also wanted to say I've gotten all the achievements in this game which took 3 playthroughs. One was on casual, I went for under 4 hours, no healing and no blood crafting. This was super fun to do. I did it in 3 hours and 20 minutes. Strong recommendation if you haven't tried to do this in the other Resi games. My other playthrough was on Insanity mode. This is quite tough as you can die so fast. Placement of enemies can be changed and the coins unlock different things, which is a nice surprise. It's definitely a fun challenge. Once you beat the game once, you can buy stuff with points you unlock by doing stuff in the game. Like all the recent Resi games, stuff like new weapons and outfits. It's a great reason to replay the game. It's a shame then there are no other modes currently. Hopefully they add Mercenaries mode at some point. Finally, time for spoilers. Go to this time code to skip. We will take this linearly. Grace at the start of the game is investigating a dead body. In the file we can see there have been similar cases, all of these people are survivors of Raccoon City. Every one of these names is a character from Outbreak, which is a great callback. In that game they were infected and if you took too long they would turn, so it is surprisingly in canon. I suppose it's not nice to know all of those characters died after my efforts of struggling through that game. Grace's mum is also Alyssa from Outbreak as well. It was nice seeing her, then she gets a knife through her neck. It turns out Leon and Sherry are also infected because they were in Raccoon City. First, where is Hannigan? She is the best comms lady. Secondly, why does no one mention Claire, Chris, Jill, Barry, Carlos, Rebecca and Billy? I get why no one mentions Billy to be fair. They should all be infected as well, and not a mention. You'd think Sherry of all people would mention Claire. At the end Leon's like, I got a cure for you, Sherry. Not even a thought to anyone else. Then there is Emily. She is a blind child Grace will meet locked up in the care centre. Grace wants to look after her similar to Claire and Sherry. It's an easy way to get you to like a character. It does lead to a really dumb decision by Grace. One of the puzzles is in Braille, so she decides to take Emily out of her protected cell to do the puzzle. The puzzle is 3 buttons. I feel like Grace could have brute forced it and not put the child in danger. Leon's next part is returning to the police station. The classic music kicks in. It was really cool seeing it again after all this time. The layout is the same. You have to use the same lever used in the library. I wish we had more to do there. There is a treasure hunt for Barry which was neat. Leon gets flashback to the Resi 2 remake. I was hoping they showed the PS1 version like an MGS4, but I know I was expecting too much. We don't really spend too much time here. Like, I would have rather been here than in a random street 15 miles away. You do get to fight a tyrant here in basically the same boss fight, which I like but was a bit much. To be fair, there are a lot of returning enemies like spiders, plants and lickers. It's definitely felt like, hey, remember Resident Evil? There's even a part where you get to fight Hunk. I think it's the Hunk as well. It's cool seeing him. I was half expecting the alligator to show up. Why not? We get everything else. Also, Umbrella's back, baby! We even get a part where we have to sneak through the orphanage as a child again. This is my least favourite part of the game. It's fine for the first time through, but on repeat playthroughs it drags. It's a lot of waiting for the coast to be clear. Eventually you get to the labs because there's always a labs. This is where Grace gets to deal with the lickers, who are way more terrifying in first person. These lab sections are quite short. It feels like we have to do something before the final boss. I do like Leon is succumbing to his infection. The screen will go blurry and he'll speak slower. It was a nice change. I would have liked it more throughout the game, but that might have gotten annoying. Finally we get to the bad guy's plan reveal. Gideon's boss is a knockoff Wesker. He has the same powers and has an inverted colour scheme. It feels like they wanted to bring back Wesker but couldn't because he blew up in a volcano. There is no coming back from that. Notes throughout the game are on about cloning and transferring memory through infected blood. I was like, okay, we're setting up Wesker's return, but it doesn't happen. They don't say this guy is Wesker and he dies in this game. We don't even get to fight him. What a shame. From what I understand, the plan was to get Grace to enter the password into Elpis. Why then did they risk letting Grace run around and get attacked by monsters? Why not take her straight there? I think they needed to test her blood to make sure she was the right one. But they don't need to use her blood to start Elpis, they just need the password, right? It was a really stupid plan when I think about it. Gideon, what was you doing? You get the bad ending if you destroy Elpis. Leon gets shot in the head, which I didn't like seeing. You're supposed to release Elpis. Grace knows to do this because her mum did an interview with Oswald Spencer, where he explains he regrets everything. I'm incredibly mixed on this. Spencer has always seemed like an evil prick. He kept doing evil stuff long after the first outbreak. He experimented on kids. It seemed so out of character for him. Because he felt so bad, he made an antivirus. I think this is for every virus, which seems crazy. Like that should just end the franchise. Gideon's like, this will create chaos, it's genius. How would bioweapons go in his stink cause chaos? Am I missing something? Leon gets cured and has one final fight with Gideon, who turns into a nemesis because more references. It is a very resi final boss, very similar to Freeze remake. I was half expecting Leon to say, I'll give you stars. The day is saved, Leon gets over his guilt at Raccoon City, maybe. Umbrella is finally done for. One of Chris's guys you can play as in 8's mercenary mode shows up to get them out of there. Leon has a chat with Grace about Emily. Grace is like, I wish we could have saved her. Then one of the stupidest lines comes out of Leon's mouth. I didn't hit any of her vital organs, she could still be alive. Excuse fucking me? I absolutely hit some of her vital organs. She turned into a giant head. I must have hit her brain. Also, that was hours ago. Surely she would have bled out. What are you on about, Leon? You might have hit your head. She is in fact still alive and Grace adopts her and becomes more confident, like her mother did for her. A lovely little character arc. Leon also puts on a ring suggesting he is married. Good for him. I hope it's Hennigan. Not Ada, like when would he see her again? The end. I enjoyed this story a lot when I was playing it, but it kind of gets dumber towards the end the more I thought about it. It's not bad, I was expecting more from the return to where it all began. Ultimately, I had a fantastic time with Requiem. This feels like a perfect celebration of the franchise. It's got great survival horror and action elements. It feels like this is the end of an era. I'm fine with that. Each number trilogy tries something new. 1 through 3, fixed camera. 4 through 6, action. 7 through 9, first person, return to horror. I'm hoping this is signalling Resi 10 is going to try something new for the franchise. Or it's a big endgame crossover with Leon, Chris, Jill, Claire, fuck it, bring back Jake as well, why not? Time to rank it. A part of me wants to put it at number 1, but I think that's recency bias. There are Resi games I would put above this, so I don't think it can be number 1. I'm feeling number 3. It's above Mortal Kombat 9 because I enjoyed the gameplay more in Requiem and there is more to do. I can't put it above Devil May Cry 3, that game has a better story that's well told and the combat is incredibly fun and dense. New number 3, it was a tough one to place. Resident Evil Requiem isn't perfect, but it's the best fusion of horror and action this series has ever done.